Hello there. My name is Jason Perkins. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of my Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. I'm an attorney who specializes in handling Georgia workers' compensation cases. I created this series of videos because I want to provide people who've been hurt at work with helpful information about Georgia's workers' compensation law and the benefits that they can receive under that law. Today, I want to talk to you about whether workers' compensation has to provide permanent light duty. The first question is, what is light duty? Light duty generally refers to some sort of limitations that you have as a result of an injury at work. Now, light duty has a technical meaning. It usually refers to kind of a certain amount of lifting, a certain amount of standing. But in workers' compensation situations, most use it as a general term to refer to any type of restrictions that you may have. So it might be limited lifting no more than 5 pounds or no more than 25 pounds. Job where you have to sit down all the time or where you have to sit down most of the time. But any sort of restrictions is what I'm referring to in this video when I'm talking about light duty. So when does light duty become permanent? Generally, light duty becomes permanent when you reach a point in your case called maximum medical improvement. That means your doctor said you're as good as the doctor expects you to get. At this point, most doctors will order something called a functional capacity evaluation, which is often abbreviated as an FCE test. This is a test that's done usually by a physical therapist or occupational therapist, and it's a very important part of your case. I've done other videos that discuss exactly what FCE is. I'm not going to get into full detail about that here, but just know it's really important. That test is going to lay out what sort of restrictions you may have as a result of your injury, and usually the doctor will agree with the results of that test. If the test shows that you have restrictions and you're at maximum medical improvement, most of the time the doctor is going to say that those restrictions are permanent because you're as good as the doctor expects you to get. Now, a question that many people have is, does your employer have to provide you with a job if you've got permanent light duty restrictions? Under the workers' compensation law, they don't necessarily have to provide you with a job. Now, other areas of law could require them to provide a job. The American with Disabilities Act is a law that sometimes applies. Or you could work and be a member of a union, and the union contract might require them to provide light duty work. Under Georgia's workers' compensation law, that law in and of itself does not require them to provide light duty work. Generally, if they're not going to provide light duty work, they do have to pay you workers' comp benefits. You have limitations as a result of your injury. They're not providing suitable work to you, and the law requires them to pay workers' comp benefits. But there are limits on how long you can receive workers' comp benefits. And there's also parts of the workers' comp law that often allow them, after a period of time, to reduce the amount of your weekly workers' compensation checks. Or some areas of the law that allow them to do away with those checks entirely. One thing that will also often come up if you're on permanent light duty restrictions and you can't go back to work with the employer you got hurt at is there's going to be a discussion about settlement of your case. Now, settlement's something that I've talked about in other videos. I'm not going to get into it full detail here. I'd encourage you to watch the other videos from my Georgia Workers' Compensation video series that talk about settlement. But one important thing to understand about settlement is that you don't ever have to settle your case. But settlement is probably something you're going to want to consider. I hope you found this information about permanent workers' compensation light duty helpful. If you have, please let me know that. Best way you can do that is by liking this video or giving it a thumbs up. If you've got other questions about Georgia workers' compensation law, settlement, and FCEs, or anything else, please reach out to me and schedule a free consultation about your case to get those questions answered. There's two easy ways you can set that consultation up. The first is by calling the phone number at the bottom of the screen, and the other is by reaching out to us to our website, which is www.perkinslawtalk.com. Click on and submit the free consultation request form, and we'll reach out to you and get a consultation scheduled. I'd like to thank you again for watching this video today, and want to wish you the best of luck as you recover from your injuries.